Welcome to Faith on Tap, a podcast where we go out to the wilds of local breweries and talk to you about, thoughts and various topics that are important to all of us. We are at Cheshire Craft Brewing in, surprisingly, Cheshire, Connecticut. And we're here, a small crowd. Hopefully it increases. We're enjoying right now a nice cold beverage.
Yep.
Well, Liz, you described the first one you had.
It's called Dark Side of the Moon. It's very mild stout.
It's a milk stout.
It's a milk stout.
So they're
It's
always
nice.
mild.
It's very good. It's not sweet. That's a good 8.
I would say 8.5. For a milk stout, I thought it was really good. I also tried their Imperial Stout, which actually Dennis did too. So when you comment on that, Dennis.
As you may know from listening to our podcast, that I am poked fun at for my choice of IPAs, but this stout was worth tasting and worth consuming. It wasn't as heavy as I thought it was, but yet the flavor was there, the smoothness was there.
The Thai test, 12.5.
Yeah, 12.5. I would give this only because only Nadia Comaneci got the perfect 10, but I'll give this a 9.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, if I was to consider all the stouts I ever had, what I'd rate it, of all the stouts I ever had, I'd put it maybe 8.5, which is high praise. For a brewery having it, I'd give it a 9.5. It's rare to have a brewery that I can go to where I have a stout that's so tasty. So we are asking the question tonight, what was the worst pain you've ever experienced? Everyone should have an answer right now.
Everyone will instantly have an answer to this.
Somebody's going to go with the physical pain of something. That's a.
I'd be very impressed if someone opened up into that emotional. But I think they'll stay with physical. But I'd like to be wrong. Any thoughts, Liz?
No, I think if we do get someone talking about emotional pain, it'll be a woman. I don't think a man would do that. A real man.
My divorce was
real bad. Yeah.
Well,
they tend to be sarcastic.
Well, let's see what they have to say.
I'm Sandy.
Hi, Sandy. It's so nice to meet you. So I have a question for you today. And the question is, what is the worst pain that you ever experienced?
Oh, easily childbirth.
Okay.
Is there a woman on the planet with a different answer?
So how many kids do you have?
Just one. That was enough.
One and done. When you were preparing for that, were you, everyone I'm sure told you it was going to be painful.
Yeah,
but there was a sense of shroudiness, like you'll be joining the club, so we're going to keep some of it under wraps. So when did you realize this was not the same thing you had imagined?
Right after they told me I couldn't really get the epidural, it was too late.
Oh, dear, yeah.
We don't have time to give you drugs.
Oh, dear.
I went from 4 centimeters dilated. They broke my water. I went right to 9.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
like, you don't have time for drugs.
No,
I'm like,
don't.
I need the drugs.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't have them.
Yep.
That's when I knew.
Okay. Please tell me that the labor wasn't long then, because it seems like it progressed really fast.
It was not long. I got to the hospital at 9:30 at night and was a mommy by a little after midnight.
That's actually quite good.
It was excellent.
Yeah. So
it hurt a whole lot, but it only hurt for a little while.
Okay. And now how old is your daughter now?
31. She'll be 32 on St. Patrick's Day.
Do you have any grandchildren?
No.
Let me ask you, as a guy, I can't ask you too many questions about childbirth, but I can ask you this. How long did you feel the pain after you saw the baby and held the baby?
That I don't remember. I don't think very long. I think once it's out, it's much better.
Well, they never tell you the placenta pushing and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, they do leave that part out.
Yes.
And next subject.
That was like, what is this? What new hell are we experiencing now?
Baby's out. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I know. Then you have the beautiful baby, and it's just like that. It disappears very quickly at that moment. At that point.
Does.
I'm here with
I'm Lori.
Lori. It's good to meet you, Lori. I'm going to ask you the question. What is the most painful experience you've had in your life?
Raising my son.
Can you share a little bit? How come?
So now I'll get really upset. So you started. So my oldest son is on the autism spectrum, and he also has mental illness. And it has been very hard as a mother to watch him navigate the world, which is very difficult for him. And also for me to be part of his life as he's navigating the world.
Mm.
It's very painful.
Does he live with you or is he in a group home?
No, neither. He actually lives independently.
Good.
He has a part-time job, but it's very difficult for him to figure out life and interpersonal relationships, including his relationship with me.
And that's not your fault, right?
Oh, I know that. But it's very difficult.
You still wear that, you carry that burden on your shoulders.
Every day, as all of my friends know.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a working relationship with your son? Do you see him?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
You do?
Oh, yes. We're very big sports fans and we share a lot of sports things together.
Mm-hmm.
And yes. And I am his best friend, for lack of a better way to put it. So, but it's
who better to have for a best friend than your mom?
Well,
the woman that loves you no matter what,
right? And he knows that. But it is a burden, and it's hard.
How have you stayed strong in that burden? Beer.
I am the beer wench. And
I think it was Franklin that said God made beer because he loves us and wants us to be happy.
That is actually exactly true. Ben Franklin said that. It's very true. I have a lot of support from my friends. I have a lot of support from my other son. I have a good sense of humor. I have a really good sense of humor.
I can see that. Now, does your other son have a good relationship with his brother?
They do well.
They do well.
I think they do well together.
Well, I appreciate your openness.
Yes. And I'm glad all my friends they all know. And they're good friends. And he's a wonderful support.
Your son's happy.
If I can make him happy, then I get him happy.
Thank you guys so much for your time. So my name's Dennis, and I'm here with Ray. What's the worst pain you've ever experienced?
I would say probably the worst pain I've ever was during one of my dental procedures. I've been fortunate. I've had some surgeries, but whether through the expertise of the surgeon or the pain medication, that's not one of my worst experiences.
But it was dental.
Dental. Yeah, I don't.
Was it during or after?
I don't know anyone that likes going to the dentist.
Yeah, no, it's a necessary.
It's never a good experience.
Peter, I think the worst pain I ever went through was my second divorce.
All right. Well, now we've gone from physical to emotional.
Yeah.
And you want to elaborate on that? What was painful about it?
It was unexpected. It took a long time. It was hurtful.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's over.
Unexpected. That's the most painful part because that leads into everything else. Huh?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It does.
But I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Thanks for that honesty. Your name is?
Steve.
Steve, what's the worst pain you've experienced in life?
My bad back after surgery.
After surgery?
Yeah, you take out all the cancer out, the lesion out of your spine, inside your spine.
So you had spinal,
and then
what kind of cancer was it?
Multiple myeloma,
and it was a tumor in your spine.
In the spine,
and they removed that. Yeah. So which means surgery on your spine.
And they seized 3 vertebrae together.
Oh my goodness!
The first week, you have to go to the bathroom. You still have to go to the bathroom and get up. It's bad.
Really? Yeah. So the physical pain of that must have been crazy.
Yeah.
What about like emotional pain?
I wouldn't take meds.
A little bit of a badass, huh? but now, what about like were you fearful? Were you?
Oh, I was gonna live,
and that was it.
Yeah, we're gonna live.
That was it, period to the end of that sentence.
Yep.
Good
Positive
for you.
attitude makes you alive.
Good for you, man. Thank you so much for that honesty.
Worst pain is losing your wife after 34 years. That's the worst pain.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. But I got a new one.
Well, life is about redemption and second chances.
It's awesome. Looking forward. Yep.
Amen.
Yep. You can still miss her, but you got to look forward.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm Liz and you are?
Allison.
Okay, Allison, I have a great question for you. What was the worst pain you've ever experienced?
My husband dying.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Was this
February 4th.
This year? Just a few
Yes.
weeks ago? Oh my
Just a few weeks ago. My husband died a few weeks ago.
It wasn't sudden.
Nope, he had terminal brain cancer. It was a glioblastoma grade 4, which he was diagnosed with in June of 2024. So it has been a long journey for us, but he died on February 4th of 2026.
And how are you handling it, say, now versus what happened?
So when he first had his seizure at home, which is what ended up getting him the diagnosis, I fortunately have a decent medical background, so I knew it was happening and I was able to handle what was happening relatively easily. Not to say that wasn't easy, but I was able to medically handle his emergency. So it's been a year and a half-ish of 2 brain surgeries, chemo, radiation, therapies, doctor's appointments, all of the things. I kept him alive and I helped his team keep him alive for a year and a half. But he finally succumbed to the glioblastoma on February 4th of this year.
Was he ready to go?
He was very angry. He was very annoyed that he was losing functionality because of where the brain tumor started. Speech was his first thing to go. And then all of his right side of his body stopped working. So he wasn't able to walk. I had to help him to the bathroom. I had to help him shower. I had to help him do all of the things that are daily activities until we ended up putting him in a nursing home because I couldn't care for him at home anymore. And it was just too dangerous. And it was just too much for me and him also to handle mentally. So he ended up in a nursing home, but because his speech was so impaired, I was not able to have a conversation with my husband for the last 2 months. So it's been a challenge.
Now, this only happened a few weeks ago. You're so strong to be able to talk like this. Why? Where you get that strength from?
And it's very interesting because I have an amazing therapist and I have been in therapy since my husband was diagnosed. And I'm working through that right now. And a lot of it is because I am a doer. I'm a task manager and I need to get things done. And right now, there's a lot of things after somebody dies that you don't realize have to get done. And there's no playbook. Nobody tells you what you have to do. You figure it out as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a task manager. And so I'm making sure the task of my son being okay right now, because we have a 17-year-old child.
How
17?
17.
Right.
He's 17. He has a job. He plays on a basketball team. He's going to school. The last month has been challenging. Neither of us went back to work or school right away. He took about 2 weeks off.
Sure.
And then there's been a lot of weather challenges here that have led to no more school for us. So
Right.
So we're just doing the best that we can. But I am, and that's one thing I'm working through with my therapist is how am I managing so well? But I'm very confident in myself. I've been very confident in my ability to take care of my husband. I am feeling like I am just needing to finish up the tasks that we need to do to make the end of his life reasonable and acceptable for him. I followed all of his wishes to a T that I possibly legally could have and emotionally could have. And so we're just doing what we have to do.
And I like that you're out here and you're being supported with your friends.
These
And
guys are my rock stars. Like
I
literally.
think that's beautiful because you are not sequestering yourself.
I'm not. No.
And you've already done that morning, kind of like preloaded. And I'm sure you're still reckoning that constantly, but you've shuffled through a lot of that already.
That's very true because a lot of what I've had to grieve has already happened. I have not had a conversation with my husband in the 2 months before he died. So I could not have a conversation with him. Just even how is the weather today? I would come into the nursing home. I tell him, man, we just got 4 inches of snow. And he'd be like, he couldn't say anything. He couldn't respond to me. So if there were any issues in our home, like my mom would visit us in the nursing home and she'd be like, my heat broke one day and I had to call our guy and he came out and my mom was like, oh, did you get the heat fixed? I'm like, you do not talk about this in front of my husband because he can't fix it.
Yeah,
he can't provide anything.
That
I'm not doing that to him.
That's very wise.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we've been preparing for this for so long because the day he had his very first seizure in June of 2024, he started dying that day.
Okay.
So we're doing.
Allison, can I ask you his name?
Michael.
Michael. So we just want to keep Michael's thought and
we want to keep Michael's spirit
His
alive.
word, that his name.
Absolutely. And
It's
then
important.
it's very important. And it's very important to talk about our loved ones that have gone before us and that have died. The other really ironic part of this whole situation is I'm the executive director of a children's grief organization called the Cove Center for Grieving Children, which is located in Cheshire, Connecticut, and we provide services statewide. So there's a little irony in that as well.
You're almost designed for this.
I am kind of designed for it, which is really scary.
Yeah.
Not gonna
That's what you
lie.
want to be designed for.
I am very designed for it, and it's a little frightening because I'm dealing with it every day now.
Right.
One last question
Sure.
on this. Would you say your strength came from who you are or from the therapy or combination?
A combination, because my father was a firefighter when I was a child. So there was the imminent death of him every day because he went to burning houses. He rescued children and performed CPR on them all the way in the ambulance to the hospitals. So I've always kind of been in this weird position of understanding life and death.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of everything.
Then you surround yourself with the people
With the
here
people
to love
around
you
me.
and give it back to you.
They do. And because I can come to any place that my regular places that I go and I can sit here and have a conversation or
Right.
not. And nobody's going to be upset about that.
Right.
It's the most amazing
That is awesome.
feeling
Yeah.
that I can talk to people
Yeah.
or not talk to people.
Right.
Exactly.
And have that opportunity to be where I need to be, but it's also a safe place where I'm not worried about my safety
Mhm.
at all. And I can come and just be me.
Yeah. Oh, thanks
That's
so
incredible,
much. Yeah,
Al.
thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
sharing.
much.
You're welcome. I
Very
appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
And we're back. Hey, Liz, how's life treating you?
It's a sitcom. I'm just waiting for the laugh track.
To the left of me, I have the Keeper of the Kingdom.
You know, I'm feeling Prince-esh, not Prince-S, Prince-ish.
Not
So I'll
as
take
in-
it, Keeper of the Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah, I belong to the gatekeepers. So
Okay.
we're guarding the gate,
All right.
Keeper of the Kingdom. Yeah.
So
I'll take that.
It's been a long time since you poo-pooed one of mine. I'm not doing well. What's the most pain you've ever been in? And to be honest with you, before I thought we'd get kind of the lame responses, but I was surprised. There was a lot of depth and a lot of what people were saying, and had some very good conversations with people. So, talk a little bit about that. First of all, Dennis, you talked to a couple of people. You had Steve with the back.
Yeah, Steve had cancer, a certain tumor in his spine, which they had to go in, they had to take the cancer out or take the tumor out, and then they had to fuse, 3 vertebrae or something like that, 3 discs. And so that was some of the worst pain he had, but he never lost hope. And there was not the emotional baggage that comes with a cancer diagnosis. He's like, I'm going to live. That's it.
Okay.
There was the dental procedure. I forget his name. And so, he was more of a physical. Steve, who had the cancer, also talked about his divorce, the loss of his first wife. And there was another guy that we spoke to, I forget his name. There was a divorce in his history that was painful because it was sprung upon him. And then the last woman I spoke to,
Lori, I believe.
Lori, she spoke about the pain of having an autistic son with mental illness and then watching him try to navigate life and seeing, the stumbling, the pitfalls, I would assume or imagine how society would treat somebody like that. And it just kind of breaks her heart. And she carries, you can tell when she was speaking about it, the weight you can see just sink upon her shoulders. And you can tell it was, and it's not something painful in the past for her. This is just an ongoing thing that she carries with her.
Yeah, and having seen children, 7th and 8th graders, who were not only autistic, but had massive mental illnesses, and just dealing with these children for 40 minutes a day, how exhausting it is. I can't even imagine this is your life now.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. So then we had the pleasure of talking to Sandy and Allison now. Yeah. Sandy, I couldn't talk too much about because she went right to childbirth.
Yeah, you were.
And it's like, I'm out of here.
The sisterhood of the traveling uterus. Absolutely. She's very correct for physical pain. And the thing is, it is like a sisterhood. You are given only so much information, and then you're left to ride.
What did you say? The placenta.
Oh yeah, nobody talks about it. It's like, no, it's bad enough that these newbies are going to
Oh,
deal
my
with
goodness.
this labor for however many hours, and then they spring this placenta thing on you. And it's like, well, no. So they never tell you that. So I just thought it was amazing when Sandy was talking. Her experience with her child was exactly ours with Sharon. Like, except for, the car and the police officer. But her pain experience
true story, by the way, but it's
was
for another day.
identical. So I was like, that's amazing, because I totally 100% knew exactly.
Sisterhood of
The
the
traveling
uterus.
Anyway, then we had a very deep conversation with Allison.
Yes.
Allison just recently, she lost her husband.
Yes.
He had terminal brain cancer. It was a long journey.
Yep. Over a year.
And she's having difficulty with her son trying to manage that. She was an incredibly strong woman, I would say. She had the gift of actually being perfect for that situation, whether that's good or bad.
She was a little bit like, I don't want to be perfect for anything like this. And it's like, no, so her husband, Mike, and I just really want to say his name. It was in his mid-40s, from what I can surmise. And but she had been traveling through the months, mourning him through the whole process and watching him slowly slip away from her in all these different ways. And so she was at a point in that process where the grief had kind of rolled itself out.
Yeah.
So, to an outsider, it might look different, but, she'd already gone through.
So she shared losing his conversation abilities.
Yeah.
And not being able to communicate anymore.
Right.
But being mentally alert, which is incredibly frustrating. So it was interesting hearing that, having both the physical pain, the emotional, and really the spiritual pain as well.
Yep.
That people were sharing. It was profitable experience, and I think it was cathartic for them, as for them to share. They had no problem sharing the information. The whole idea of pain is always an interesting one in Christianity. Always people talk about why is there pain, and et cetera, et cetera. But I guess I could throw this question out to you guys. Does pain draw you closer to God?
It's up to you. I mean, she was angry. She's angry with God. But I think Liz brought up a good point. If you're angry with him, that means you still have you're in relationship with him. Not good, but you're in relationship with him. I thought was a very good.
Yeah, you haven't lost the relationship yet if you have that.
But you have a choice. It can either drive you away from him or drive you towards him. I don't think there's a neutral position in the context of pain.
It's pretty polar, yeah. I guess unless you're an atheist, then you would say, well, it doesn't matter. I just have pain.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow atheists still seem mad at God.
Yeah.
They hate something that doesn't exist.
So the $1,000,000 question, which we're not going to address right off the bat, but why does a loving God allow pain and suffering in the world? Which, again, I'm sure, Dennis, you've never been asked this, but...
Nope. And I have the perfect answer. I have the answer.
So when reading the C.S. Lewis book, Problem with Pain, some of the main points in the problem with pain, first of all, I like the first one. The problem arises from the belief in God, not atheism. In other words, the reason why you have a problem with it is that you intellectually believe that Christianity affirms a righteous and loving and ultimate reality. So if you're an atheist, you should just expect randomness to happen, and it should mean nothing to you. So there should be no problem with pain.
In other writings, C.S., is there a God if there was a Holocaust? Well, just the fact that we call it a Holocaust means there's a God because there's inherent worth in humanity. Yeah, it is a yes.
The next point he gives is that God's goodness is not mere human kindness. In other words, divine love is more like a sculptor rigorously shaping an indulgent pampering. God's goal is not to make us holy and fully lovable, not just comfortable. So it doesn't matter if we're comfortable or not in God's eyes. It's a matter that we become closer to him. Whatever events happen in your life, God's goodness would result in you getting closer to him. If it's pain, so be it. Is that a little harsh, or do you think that's on point?
I think it's harsh only if you attribute God giving you the pain so you can get closer to him. Like God's going, you know what? I need to mess with him and break him down. I think God uses our circumstances, our poor choices, to then sculpt us in the context of pain. So our pain is not necessarily God's punishment. It's the consequence of just a stupid decision sometimes, or somebody else's wrong decision, where we can grow through that pain and trust that, yeah, nothing could be wasted if we look to God for answer, solace, or just look at him with trust.
He also goes on to say, pain shatters illusions and gets our attention. In other words, sometimes we feel that we have it all, we got it all together with ourselves. We don't need anyone else. And then something like this comes in and kind of like, I guess I'm not as great, self-sufficient as I thought I was. I can't do A, B, C, etc. Exposes who we are more. And that in the long run could be a very good thing. I thought that was a good point.
Pain really exposes weakness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it exposes character deficit. It can expose even an integrity deficit, depending on how you react or respond. Or, it was really the ultimate surprise.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of respect for people who are Christians, but they just have a lovely life. They've had nothing bad happen in their life, and everything's beautiful. Everything is sunshine and roses. Well, no, some people have a sweet life. Some people have a sweeter life than others. And,
true. I'll give you
that's
true.
They never were tested. And okay, well, it's kind of easy to believe in God. Whereas someone who's gone through the depths of hell and back and still have a faith, and usually it's stronger, I have a lot more respect for those people.
And I think some of the depth of the answers that we got were from people who have gone through it. They didn't skate through life. They didn't have, popcorn, rainbows, and Skittles. It was life punching them.
C.S. Lewis goes on to say, surrendering to God is inherently painful for sinful humans. We're not just imperfect creatures needing improvement, but rebels who must lay down our arms. And I think
he has no way of pulling the punch, huh?
Not C.S. Lewis. And lastly, he concludes that heaven's the ultimate resolution. Earthly pain is temporary. Heaven's eternal. And that should be our focus.
What causes you pain may not cause me pain.
Right.
And vice versa. And it is really interpretation of my expectations and my pride and my wants and needs and or desires. But there is, I think we can't shy from the fact of there is universal pain in the world.
Some can endure pain a lot better than others. Mm-hmm. But pain is something everyone can relate to at some level, at least. Going to the next level then, how can pain serve as a catalyst for spiritual maturity?
It really is a decision of the experiencer if they're going to draw closer to God and or they're going to push away from him. But to have to give up your definition of the way things should be, your expectations of what you wanted things to be, and say, okay, God, I don't get this, but I'm going to trust you. That's a horribly difficult place to come to, especially in certain areas of life and of pain. I think of, people who've lost homes in wildfires or hurricanes or things like everything destroyed. Their house is their house is dust with a chimney. And at that point, it's either you're going to press in or you're going to pull away.
Yeah. I guess that's where the rubber hits the road at those points, those junctures in life. You could be a superficial Christian and then pain happens and that could be their decision. Am I going to say, no, I don't need this God stuff. This is ridiculous. Why would he do this to me? Or and look at it deeper, it's go, okay, what can I do now I have this pain? How can I grow from this?
Right.
And that's the ultimate. I mean,
and I think that's more the exception and not the norm.
You think so?
I do. I don't think people, at least in the throes of go, how can I grow from this?
Well, not when they first receive the bad news, but
I think there's an initial reaction.
Oh, yeah.
No, but I think as we mature, the time frame between no and okay, God, what are you doing? Lessons.
Yeah. A lot of people in your congregation who've gone through a lot. Have you seen the full gambit of
Oh
depth?
yeah. I mean, I've seen, a woman a mom so overcome with grief because her teenage son, I think he was 19 maybe, was killed in just a tragic accident, and just overcome with grief, climbing into the casket with him. And I just remember standing there going, I hope I never experienced that level of pain. And I've seen others where Betsy, I was with her and her two sons when we had to tell her that there's nothing else the doctors can do for you, and we're going to keep you comfortable, but you're going to see Jesus. There's this end of life pain, but yet it was mixed, stirred with hope. It was stirred with, here's a woman who loves Jesus and is going to be with him, but now we have to tell her she's going to be with Jesus, And so I've seen both sides of, hopelessness, but it's still, no matter if you have the hope and you don't grieve like those without hope, as the scripture says, or if you're hopeless, that pain is pain. She was in pain for years, and it made her crabby sometimes because consistent chronic pain. My mom the same way. She had, arthritis throughout her spine, her hands, always in pain. It does something to you.
Can there be good from pain? Absolutely. And it really depends on our perspective. I'm trying to think of people in the Bible. Is there any?
Paul. We're watching a show called Testament, which is really interesting. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's like a modern retelling of the book of Acts. And Paul is haughty and proud and intelligent and disciplined and schooled and so obnoxious.
Yeah. This is the old Paul.
Yeah, this is
Saul.
So Saul, yes. And and I'm like, something's going to happen because he's too perfect.
Yeah.
He's too perfect. This is not going to be good, in season 2. So check it out. It's real interesting. So I have a feeling that the writers have a grip on this. But to talk about it, the thing is, and you've mentioned Genesis 3 or Genesis 4 numerous times, pain is because humanity screwed up this marriage between heaven and earth, and that divide allowed for pain to enter in and become chronic in the human race. And when this gets rectified in the coming age, we'll have heaven and earth, but this pain nonsense is gone.
It is temporary.
It is temporary. Doesn't mean we enjoy it.
Nope.
But we have something to look forward to according to the book of Revelations. No more tears.
Yeah. No more death, no more pain.
On that note, have a great night. Tune in next episode when you'll hear Dennis say,
you need to be doing what I'm doing in order to be in